Hi guys, and welcome back to Marketing the Madness, where you're dialing in to some of our special episodes where we were recording live on stage at Marketing the Madness Live at the Drum back in October. And I have got another corker of an episode for you. So without further ado, let's go and meet our next guest.
Thank you for having us. So here's, we're going to talk about attention, and we're going to talk a little bit about the Uber business and how we've got to where we've got to. So I just press a button, do I? Oh, there you go. I think when we talk about advertising in our business, we talk about seizing attention on the go, because if you think about the way you all interact with us, and I'm sure many of you do, there are two moments which really matter. One is when you're in a car, you're looking at the map and checking where you're going to get on time. And the other one is if you're ordering Uber Eats, you're looking at the map, working out when the driver is going to deliver your food. Those are two very important moments. And when we thought about the ad business, I think one of the things we looked at was how that was going to matter to and where we place advertising. And I'll take you through our story on this. Sorry, I keep pressing the wrong button. I thought deliberately put this up. Firstly, I normally do a thing where we can do a competition on ratings. We're not going to do that. So everybody here is going to get an Uber voucher, regardless of what your rating is, which some of you might be quite relieved by. Ratings is really interesting because it's an attention thing, isn't it? I mean, I'll talk about attention. I deliberately put in a French word there because it sort of makes you think, oh, hang on, why is he talking French? Not just deliberate, just to throw up attention. But Uber rating is quite an interesting thing because if you remember back before Uber we existed, I don't know, does anyone know when Uber first ran in the UK? Any ideas? 2012 was the first Uber in the UK. It went from the city to a Chelsea restaurant, rather typically. But Uber rating didn't exist. There was no such thing as a rating, both for a driver and for a user. And that's been a very key part of our thing, because it's a sort of social proof thing. You don't want a bad rating. I can give you tips on ratings later if you want to know how to improve your rating. But however, it's not working for me because I'm at 4.77. I use Ubers more regularly than probably most people. The average in the UK is 4.8, if you want to know. So ratings is a big part of what we've done, but there's a lot of things we've done within our business that take us through. And I think the first starting point is when we thought about the advertising business, and the advertising business in Uber is 3 years old. And the last announcement we had on volume is we reached a $1.5 billion run rate. So it has grown incredibly fast. But obviously, if you think about, and Jason mentioned this, you think about consumers now, they are bombarded by messaging. And therefore, there are key moments in a day where you can get, lots of things get ignored, but there are also moments where things don't get ignored, and we think we're one of them. If you think about our experience, and we touched on this right at the beginning, our ride order has been put, but it's placed to say you are looking at your screen, you're looking at the Uber app. That isn't going to change in any world. You are always wanting to make sure you're in the right place to be picked up, or you can see the driver coming down towards to drop your food off. The status element's really important. The estimated time of arrival, important. The map and the time left. Now, to give you an idea, the average Uber journey is around 25 minutes in the UK. It's a bit longer if you go to an airport. So probably about 40 minutes if you go to an airport, depending. Within that, we reckon the ads that we're currently showing are being seen or visible for 2 minutes. 2 whole minutes when an ad is visible. And a similar thing is true when you're looking at the delivery app as well. So you have two things. You've got the attention of the user and you have time. But the other thing is you also have an audience that is particularly interested in all sorts of things. We did some research with a couple of companies to look at our audience from an advertiser's perspective rather than just from an internal Uber perspective. We came up with this thing called Generation Uber. Because people who use Uber have 3 core values that matter to them. One is convenience, obviously, that goes without saying. The second is that they want value, but value can be variable because value can be different if you want something last minute to value if you want to do a major shop. So if you want a bottle of wine because you're running out and you've got a dinner party and you need to get some, you may be less price sensitive than if you're doing a full order from Waitrose on a Monday. The other thing they look for is connection. And connection is with other people, but also with brands. There's a very high propensity for people to want to engage with brands if they're an Uber user. And we believe that's fundamental to our ads business. And here's some other facts about them. 27% more likely to prioritize real experiences over passive consumption. 52% of them want brands to make them feel connected to others. And 70% obviously more likely to embrace on-demand solutions. On-demand solutions is now getting wider, right? So we now have John Lewis on the platform. We've got Boots on the platform. You can order from them as much as you can order from Waitrose or anywhere else. And we see that growing. We've just announced a deal with Sephora in the US as well. So there's a lot of things that people want on demand that we can provide through our platform. So how do we do it? Well, when we built the ads business, one of the fundamentals for us was to make sure the ads integrated into the units. And you will have seen ads probably on various things. They're not, we don't do high volume. There are no splash pages. There's no things that get in the way of your experience. So the ones on the left here, these are all journey ads, as we would call them. They exist in the Uber Rides app. They are shown in a sort of 3-cycle process, because if you think about your Uber ride, there are 3 separate sections that you run to. The first one is when you're waiting for a car to confirm. The second one is when the car is on the way to you. And the third one is when you're on the way to the destination, whatever that may be. And that's where the 2 minutes happens. And the whole variety of ads here, to Jason's point as well, there's a very interesting thing about creativity, because you can be quite creative here. The Uber app is essentially a black and white app in terms of look. So if you're a marketeer, you're immediately with some color going to add some experience. This is a Boots one for a promotion they were doing for summer. And that's a gamified thing, because gamification also works in this platform. We got Unilever with ice creams, and the video platform. We got Armani doing this one's a add to wallet. So you go into an airport, you can download a feature, an add to wallet feature, and then you get a sample when you purchase at the airport. So some cool examples there, but that's the ads are there. And then also on the Uber Eats side, there's a lot of ads on the platform, but again, they're not interrupted to the user experience. And that's vital. People have time, they've got the engagement, but we don't want to interrupt their users. Sorry, I've got to go back. Can I go back? Yes, here we go. So that was the first thing. So we got this time, we got this engagement, we got about 2 minutes. But what we wanted to really understand is, does it make any difference to an advertiser? Because you've got more time, you've got this engagement. So we went to our friends at Lumen Technologies and said to them, look, we want to understand how people actually view ads in our app. So we got a group of people across the US and the UK, and we stuck special glasses on them and stuck them in Ubers and saw how they would engage with the ads from their eye tracking. Quite a complicated process, but one we thought was valuable, because we knew we had the time, but we didn't know what the attention was going to be. And what we found was that Uber was second only to pre-roll on YouTube in terms of attentive seconds. 6.6 attentive seconds basically means there's about 6 seconds of time that people are actually seeing the ads and engaging with the ads. They're recognizing the ads. And that's very amazing, considering obviously generally CTV and online video gets much greater attention because there's a benefit at the end. You sit on YouTube, you know you're waiting for the bit of content that you're waiting for. You'll sit through an ad going, okay, I'll watch this because I have to. With us, ads are just part of the ecosystem. So there's no necessary reason why they get the attention that they do. But capturing attention isn't enough. Brands must sustain it to drive real impact, and this is important. So if you think about time spent, and you think about your own time spent, if you get attention over 2.5 seconds, the recall jumps. So what we've seen is it jumps to 50%, 50 to 53% for 5+. And this again is confirmed by all the brand lift studies we've done at Uber, have always suggested that we've got a very, very big brand uplift. We've also got brand favorability changes as well. But this was a really, really critical moment. We were like, great. We can clearly understand the impact this has on business, because it's making the time there is making a difference on recall. And recall is not the only thing. Obviously, you've got an engaged audience who are interested in brands. The next thing was having a look at consideration. Now, we've broken this out between Uber Rides and Uber Eats just to show the difference between the two platforms. But to be honest, the same story is there regardless. The total is a 27% lift in brand consideration. On Uber Rides, the journey ads element, it was a higher lift of 31%. Uber Eats, 18% lift. Still very strong, though. So ads exposure drives consideration. And then we said, okay, fine, this is all great, but does it really work? Well, here's some examples just to show you. So this is some work we did with Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut, we're launching a brand new handcrafted pizza, and we created a Space Invaders game on the Uber Rides app where you could just play around and do stuff while you're waiting for your car to come. The dwell time of this ad was 3 minutes. The sales generated £95,000 just from the journey ads. They actually ran a lot of other stuff on Uber Eats as well. So this was just the stuff that we got from here, from people in the Rides app clicking into Uber Eats. And a 26% increase in new users, which is very remarkable in commerce generally, because it's a large number. And this campaign's won the award for Best Commerce Strategy in DigiDay for this year, and is up for various other awards as well, because I think it proves the point. Attention matters. It makes a difference on sales. It makes a difference on brand awareness. It makes a difference on consideration. This is another one we did with DAZN. Haven't got the results on this in terms of impact for them, but they're very happy with it. But we exposed 500,000 users to this. This was a post-checkout ad. So you've ordered some food, and then DAZN was promoting the second Fury flight. 5.6% click rate. That's incredible, really, in terms of where we are as a business. But logical, because what are people going to do when they get food? They're going to order food. They're going to do something on a streaming platform. So, summary of all of that, we've got attention. And attention, we think, is the most important thing in this world of multiple layers. The users stay engaged. They're way above the 3-second mark. Recall strong. And we deliver real impact to businesses, as we saw with the Pizza Hut example. So we've gone from being a business that has been very much about getting you to places or getting things to you, to a business that has an ad business that fits in there, but also can bring you new customers and new engagements as we go forward. And we're really pleased to keep going with this. And there's much more to come. And we really look forward to working with any of you. I want to talk about it. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
So I hope you loved that episode just as much as I did. Honestly, there has been so much gold content from Marketing in the Madness Live, and you are not going to want to miss out. So if you haven't already, wherever you're listening, please make sure you subscribe. And if you want to join us live at the next event, which is coming up in March 2026, go and connect with me on LinkedIn, Katie Street, and make sure you follow the Marketing in the Madness Live page, and I will make sure that you get one of our VIP invites.